Is this, I got some kind of error message. Hang on. What the hell was this? Rekieta. They're not letting me go live. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Apparently they banned the word retardation in the title. All right, let's see here. Okay, let's make sure the clip is set up. All right, let's see here. Okay, okay. Oops, hang on. I didn't turn off the. So it's been a while since I've done like a live stream. I have not had time. Okay. I am okay. I know I I went live out of nowhere when I wasn't going to. I was sitting here like working, eating. I did. I am furious. I am like livid right now.
Intro.
Not gonna lie.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, guys? Welcome.
Welcome.
Not gonna lie. This is the angriest I've been at Rekieta for quite a while, and it's probably because this is the first time I've seen anything related to Nick over the past month. I can't remember when the last time I covered him was, but like I haven't been following along with the case. I haven't been keeping up with it. I haven't had the time. I'm finishing up a book, okay? Like I'm busy. So it's really weird feeling at home today and then just be like, oh, Nick is streaming. Tune in for 3 seconds and get greeted with this nonsense. I could probably like find it in this video, but like, yeah, we'll just get greeted with this nonsense. My lawyers are incompetent. He is really going to sit there on stream and tell us that it's because of his lawyers that his case has been such a mess. He's gonna blame Kiwi Farms. He's gonna blame like his attorneys. He's gonna blame like Candioti County. He's gonna do everything under the sun to avoid having to take any responsibility at all. It is positively insane. It is ridiculous what we're seeing here right now, airing live. But I wanted to just put this out there immediately to talk about this because this is insane. Okay, like this is just unbelievable what he's been doing.
The Lost
I'm your host, Nick Rekieta.
Oh, I don't have my.
A small law firm in central Minnesota. With me today is a good friend, long time contributor to the show, or whatever. What's up, Dick?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm laughing.
How's it going?
It's going. All things considered, it's going okay. It's going okay. I mean,
Have you been keeping an emotional journal through this process?
Yeah, I have. It's on my
You've been
Twitter.
journaling? Oh, Twitter? No, I wouldn't journal there. That's a bad place to be doing journaling.
It doesn't matter.
Especially when you're on trial, I would say.
It doesn't matter where you journal.
Yeah. First things first. Like, he has been giving us updates about both of his trials on his YouTube sphere. Like, how can Dick Masterson be so retarded? Oh, it would be a bad idea for you to give statements about your delicate legal situation on Twitter. Hey, he's been doing it on YouTube the entire time. For years. And not just about these incidents. Like, it's way too much about what's going on.
Anymore. All journals. No, man. I've never journaled. Never been
No.
I'm a writer who doesn't write. I mean,
Yes.
story of my life, right?
You should
No, as opposed to myself, who is a writer who does write, proving that always and forever I am Nick Rekieta's superior. But anyway.
Start.
I'm a lawyer who doesn't practice, a writer who doesn't write, a streamer who doesn't stream. What's next?
But you do stream, Eureka.
A fucker who doesn't fuck. I know you're not that.
No, that's me too. No, I'm just kidding. No, man, it's been wild. I've got my my next major hearing in my criminal case coming up on Wednesday, and I'm just like,
Wow.
I'm chomping at the bit. It's been so fucking long that you don't get to say anything for this period
So
of
now
time.
you get to respond to all the accusations by the state. Finally.
Yeah, just at least to start. At least to start, we get to make.
What lawyer song do you hum as you're walking in the courtroom to pump yourself up? Do you give yourself like a Law and Order, bum bum, bum, or do you do like a?
No, it's just wet ass pussy. It's just
wet ass pussy.
That's all it is. That's all I play all day because I
Cool.
just thinking about how physically attracted I am to the chair I'm about to sit in and be prosecuted in.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say how you're gonna fuck the government, but of course you wouldn't say that. So.
No, the government. We can't fuck the government, Dick. You should know this. The government will fuck itself. We won't. We won't ever be able to. But we have a chat quick from Coop says, thank you for not killing yourselves. You too, brother. Thank you.
Thanks.
Big ups to that.
Man, my head is so big on your stream. My head, look at all, I'm getting really gray. I don't look at myself in the mirror because there's just no need to, but man, I'm losing it.
Well, anytime you need a mirror, I'll invite you on the stream. You can be like, oh, God.
Okay, thanks.
I can see how it's going.
So you're going in Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday is my contested omnibus hearing. So it's like all pre-trial shit that you
okay.
get to fight.
So it's still in progress, and yet he's doing this celebratory stream like, oh, I got my kids back. That's apparently what this is about, is that like he's trying to dab on like kiwi farms. I hate using the word dab, but like he's trying to like hold one over on kiwi farms, like, oh, look, I got my kids back. Ooh, this guy is a pedophile. Ooh, like he keeps trying to like divert from the actual issue, is that like, were you prosecuted by the state for a good reason? And the answer is yes, absolutely. And yet he's gonna try and like deflect that all throughout like this stream. Unbelievable.
Fight the government on, and then in theory also I could take a plea deal, I guess, on that day too. That is possible. That is if they've offered me one. Dun dun dun. Since they've offered one to Lady Rackets, but doesn't seem like they have to Nick Rekieta.
Oh, is that? I'm not. I don't know everything that's going on. I just know that.
Oh, don't worry. Nobody does. They all think they do. It's so fucking funny. Because it's like, guys,
bro, I started this stream saying that I wasn't keeping up with the case and like what's been going on. Like, again, not knowing anything about your critics, bro.
Like they're saying they offered your wife a plea deal, but they didn't.
Yeah, well, they did. They offered my wife a plea deal, and everybody's like, and they didn't offer one for Nick. They're gonna get her to roll on him. It's like, okay.
When did that happen?
That's what happened.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
It's amazing because the people who like keep commenting with so much authority about what's going on, there are people who in the past, if they would have just asked, I would have probably told them what was going on. And now they're out there just like freaking out about it. And they're being like, this is what Nick's doing. He's like, no, that's not it at all.
This is such a cope stream. Coping and seething with Nick Rekieta. Holy shit.
I don't know.
I like that legal guy, that guy with the one eye on the law and the one eye on the Thai lady boys. That guy, fucking Walleye Esquire.
He puts the limp in Pimp Limp.
Oh yeah, he has a limp.
Oh, dude,
I don't know anything about that guy. He just seems to be on he seems to be on the popular side of the law. Every time I hear from him, he's like, "Oh yeah, this is."
You can also find him on Fresh and Fit. Hello, fellow Chads.
Yeah. Last time I heard from him was Dick doesn't know anything about cocaine. I said, okay. Sure thing.
Does
buddy.
he?
You don't know anything about Thai lady boys either, I'm sure.
It's just wild. Like, this has been one of the most interesting parts of of my case for me is watching, like, again, I know like all the filings, like I have the discovery, I have all that stuff. Now it took a while. At first I didn't. They didn't serve me fucking anything. For my first hearings that I had with the child custody part of it, they didn't tell us we had a hearing. Like, I found out the day we had a hearing, I found out that 3 hours before the hearing that we had one.
Are they just incompetent, A, B, trying to fuck you, or C, so used to dealing with like poor and
Like, did they really not tell you though? Like, really, I can tell you from experience that like Nick gets emails all the time that he just never responds to, that he doesn't respond to text. Like considering the state of the house and like his personal life, like he's out of it like 100% of the time, right? Like he's not doing anything. So it's very possible that they did try to communicate with him, but he just ignored it, and they were just going to do what they did during the driver ticket thing with April, and just have the hearing without him, right? Like, again, he's already no-showed like one court trial he's been involved with, so how is this different than what we've already seen? Anyway,
and retarded people that they just don't tell people anything because they can't explain it.
D, all the above.
All the above.
Seriously. So one of the more interesting things as we were having a walkthrough, one of the times the government was in my house, they get to come check out your house like whenever you want when they have your children, right? And because they just go, oh well, if you want to ever see them again, it's amazing.
That's
how
great,
they just gun to your head the whole time. They're like, oh, you want us to come over to your house right now? You want us to do that? It's like, yes, please. Actually, I would love it if you just walked around in it and looked at all the doors or whatever.
Children. Oh God.
And but one of the times
now, did I read that right?
Yeah, kids are back home.
Oh, that's great.
Full time. My parents didn't move in. Neither did Kayla's parents. The rumor, like, dude. So
Jesus
our
Christ,
first,
look at my neck.
Look at this. Yeah. It was, well,
my razor broke. And
your
my
razor broke.
My clippers.
You look like Sweeney Todd. Fucking razor broke.
Man, what the fuck?
You look like that chicken Beetlejuice.
My wife did that to me in my sleep because I said something. I was like, I don't really like that. Those pajamas, they make you look fat. And then I woke up like this. My clippers broke, and I had already jacked off, so I didn't want to go looking.
Even if Rekieta gets off completely scot-free, it really isn't a big deal. I agree with this.
In my state,
actually, that's a really good observation. Like, he isn't going to recover from this situation.
I don't think I repaired.
But anyway.
Anyway, sorry.
So even if, again, there's really nothing that can go right for him at this stage.
Fine. It's
okay.
The first lawyers that we had were appointed attorneys because, again, so you get out of jail, and they, like I said, they didn't serve us any of the documents related to the child custody case, so we had no idea. I'm
curious if that's like that's verifiable or not. I think it's not true, and I think people will be able to prove it. I can't imagine he was in jail. Like, of course they're gonna tell you when they're gonna like follow up on like your criminal charges, even if you did post bail, right? Like, again, it's like he's not asking questions. It's like he's not invested. It's not like he's paying attention to what's going on at all. Like, he doesn't. Again, he's putting all the blame on everyone else around him. Like, he's kind of doing what DSP does. Like, if you've ever seen that hospital visit video where he goes in, right, he shits on the ENS work for calling in the ambulance, he shits on the hospital staff, he shits on the nurse, he shits on the counselor, he shits on, like, everybody, right? Like, it really comes off like that way. Like, everybody but him is a problem.
Hearing from our relatives about some hearing that was coming up, and we're like,
wait. Our relatives? Wait a minute. So your relatives knew, but you didn't? Huh? That doesn't make any sense. Like,
to the child custody case. So we had no idea. We started hearing from our relatives about some hearing that was coming up, and we're like, what is the hearing for? And they're like, we don't know. Like, well, why? Like, what are you talking about a hearing for? We don't know anything about it. And we couldn't look it up. because you can't look up child custody stuff. They have it all the names are protected.
What? Like, you're involved in the case. You're the one that's implicated, right? That stuff isn't available to the public, but they're gonna tell you, right? They don't just, no. Absolutely not, no.
But there wasn't even a hearing listed at the time we were supposedly having a hearing. So then the government shows up at my house and they're like, "Oh yeah, are you coming to the hearing today?"
The government? Like, I love how he always says the government, like they're, like it's some big transcendental entity that just shows up. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi out of the mist, right? Like, ooh, the government is coming to get you. Like, come the fuck up. Like, he talks like it's Jason or something. Like, come on. Oh, the government's gonna get you. Like,
are you coming to the hearing today? The one about your kids, and it's like, yes. What the fuck? I said, when are you going to actually service the papers? They said, well, we don't have to. And it's like, well, I mean, you kind of
do it though.
Yeah, you kind of have to, except they don't.
They don't have to, or they already did, and you just ignored it, right? Again, major DSP vibes here, right? It's just like, huh? Like, no, this doesn't make any sense. Like, not in any way, shape, or form. No.
Because they just have your children and they don't have to do anything like you, and then you have to fight for it.
Yeah.
And the leverage that they always have is, okay, you can fight, but we'll just make it take longer.
Yeah.
And one of the, but it just, you mentioned.
So wouldn't you want to have the hearing so you could get your kids back? Like, again, your kids were taken from you. Shouldn't you be in contact with these people, like making sure, okay, we're doing this on this date, this date, this date to get them back? Like, again, it's like he doesn't even care about his kids. I mean, I know he doesn't, but he does this thing where he pretends he does. But then, like, he tells these stories, and, like, you start looking in between the lines, and you're just like, wait a minute. Like, this doesn't make any sense at all.
Part 3, where they're just so used to dealing with people who are, like, dumb or don't speak English or whatever.
Yeah.
Not used to the legal system. One of the walkthroughs.
Neither are you, Nick. You've never been in court. Like, shut up. Ethan Ralph has more court experience than you. You don't know anything. You're not smart. You're not a practicing attorney. Like,
government worker looks around. She goes, we're just not used to dealing with people in your socioeconomic status.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to. Like, there's nothing to do here.
I said, probably because I didn't stab someone for meth. Like the other people you're dealing with is the people who stab people for drugs or whatever. Like, what you guys have done is bullshit.
What you guys have done, not what he's done. Like, again, like, Rekieta may be upper class, he may have a trust fund, but he's still committing drug-related crimes. He is no different than the people stabbing those for drugs. Right? Like, again,
because the government exists to deal with poor people, lady. That's like, you guys, nobody told you guys that, but that's the reason why we have this.
Oh, that was great. This whole saga gets fantastic, but and eventually I get to tell the whole story. But for now, like the first.
Oh yeah, the whole story. Sure. What is it gonna be? It's gonna be him lying his ass off, like he has been the entire time. Like, he thinks he's gonna be he thinks he's gonna get away with it, but it's just not gonna happen. I actually saw. I checked his YouTube numbers before I went live. 1,000 people are watching this bullshit. 1,000. That is like a far cry from where he was like years and years ago. I would suggest that like most of them are like people like me who are just dabbing on him right now. But anyway,
lawyers we had were appointed at the hearings that we didn't know we had. We got there. Our lawyers had nothing prepared. They hadn't read our complaint.
This is the bit that really made me want to make this stream. Like, this is absurd to me. That he's seriously going to have the audacity to come out and shit on his own attorneys for something that was probably his fault.
We didn't get to see our complaint. I didn't see our complaint until the second hearing. Wow. So just so everybody's aware of that.
You know what you're getting accused of with your kids, having to do with your kids?
Wait. He doesn't know? But we know! How is it that we know what he's being accused of, but he doesn't? Oh, but what you know is wrong! No, it isn't. We have a pretty good idea. Like,
Nope. At the first hearing, I had not even seen the government allegations against us. Then at the second hearing, I finally get to read them, and I'm reading them over my lawyer's shoulder, who our lawyers, they're like, "Oh, we want to do a continuance at this first hearing. We'll give us 10 days to prepare a case." And we got there 10 days later after the continuance. And because they first said, they're like, "Well, who are your witnesses and what are your exhibits?" I'm like, "I don't know. I've been in jail." Like, what exhibits do we need? The government has to show a dangerous environment. There's nothing that I don't need an exhibit. I have witnesses, and they're like, "Well, let's just get the case ready."
witnesses like who? Dick Masterson? Like who? Like LawTube? Like the sweepers? Like who exactly is going to be on your side during this situation?
We'll do a continuance for 10 days, and then we'll do it. So we're like, I guess. 10 days later, I show up to court, and my lawyer looks at me and she goes, "What are your exhibits and where are your witnesses?" And I said, "Excuse me, that's your fucking job." Like, and I had been in contact with this woman. Like, I had spoken with her between hearings.
What's like an example of a like what was she supposed to have had in that time?
I don't know what exhibits she would have done, but like, this is her thing was, let's do a continuance so we can get some exhibits and witnesses together.
Okay.
I had the same witnesses. Actually,
No. I think a lot of people find Rekieta to be really interesting.
I didn't have the same witnesses because I think I would have had another witness at the first hearing than I was able to have. But I had the same witness list of potential people, and the exhibits were the same, which is the government has to show. That's the exhibit, is the government has to show something. I don't have to show anything. There's not like an exhibit I can show you to show that something didn't happen. So I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? And they had no preparation done for the case. They hadn't talked to a single witness. They barely had talked to me. They hadn't prepared an exhibit. They hadn't read any reports. They had nothing. I had to effectively represent myself, but I had to fight with my own counsel to do it.
So he's gonna make it out to be like he won the case when his own attorneys weren't doing shit for him? That's really the angle he's gonna go for. Like, oh, the entire world is against me. The judge, the prosecution, my own counsel. Oh, man. It's hard being Nick Rekieta, internet attorney. Unbelievable.
It was fucking embarrassing.
Unbelievable.
Those two lawyers get appointed to every child custody case in the county. Every single one gets one of those two lawyers.
If they argue too much, they lose business?
I wouldn't allege that. That would be insane to allege that the hand that feeds them is the government who chooses to appoint them to every single case, and that's their exclusive
you live in, like,
practice.
Hazard County? What the fuck is going on there? How are two lawyers in charge of all the child custody shit?
There's not that many people in the county. The total people in the county is about 50,000. I've had live streams bigger than this county.
Yeah.
So like that's how like small the actual population is. But all of them, all I could think though is like, well, I'm a lawyer who speaks English. And so I know what's fucking going on. Like when people are talking in the courtroom, we have a pretty high Hispanic population, a pretty high Somali population. I can't imagine how fucked over they get by these lawyers.
So he's going to defend the Somalians.
Because I'm sitting there.
Wow. Like, a douchebag.
So one of the things I mentioned online that people kind of misunderstood, I asked my lawyer, unrelated to what we had going on in any of the particular court hearings, but I asked my lawyer to get a recording for me. I said, I'm entitled to that recorded conversation. And she said, they don't usually like to do that. Yeah, I'm not joking when I said the government has a recorded conversation with me and I want it because I can have it. Right. She goes, they don't usually like to do that. And I said, it's required by law that they give me that conversation that they have.
It's such an odd way to phrase that.
So I said, your job is to get that. So ask for it. And I asked for it. and they didn't give it to me for fucking ever. They actually did not respond to my lawyer's request. It was true. They didn't like doing that.
Yeah.
But she's like, well, why do you want this recorded conversation? I said, well, because they might want to use something I said in the conversation. And I want to make sure that if they do that, we're able to counter with what was actually said. Because I know what I said and I know how the government works. They'll take something out of context. It's called the rule of completeness. And she goes, what's that? And I said, I'm sorry, what's the rule of completeness? She says, yeah. And I said, well, if they use like a piece of evidence against you, like a portion, like let's say you write a book and they use one sentence out of the book, but there's surrounding paragraphs that make the sentence kind of important or change the meaning of something. The rule of completeness allows you to introduce enough evidence to complete the actual fact that you're going with. And she goes, in all my years of practice, I've never heard of the rule of completeness.
That's not.
And I about put a fucking gun in my mouth, dude.
God.
She had no idea. She didn't know the actual rules of evidence, the basic rules.
People go into different things, practices of law. They have different things they need to focus on. They have different expectations. Like, this is an actual practicing attorney. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this individual, who I know nothing about, is probably more respectable than Nick Rekieta. I have a very hard time believing that she's not.
Of evidence that exists. None. She did no preparation, didn't talk to me about the case at all, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It was
You got
fucking
paid though.
Not by me, thank Christ.
Yeah, by the government. That's fucked, man.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's been fun. It's been especially fun, like, because there's this Kiwi Farms account, Minnesota Public Records, and they keep releasing documents from my case. And then what happened is, like, the case got sealed, so they ran out of documents to release, so they had to break up the last one into multiples because they're like. But the thing is, they're milking
okay,
this.
So it's not a
document.
cop. I figured that was a cop. I guess if they don't have access anymore, then
I have no idea who it might be. None at all. None. But no. So the thing is, they only have access to a couple documents, and then they don't have any more, and so they've been trying to milk this last one, which means that the document they're releasing is the transcript from a hearing that happened on June 7th, but they're releasing it in parts.
Oh, so okay. So they're really fucking everybody up because everyone's on a time delay now.
And the funny thing is, they're like, "Oh, this is stupid. This is really gonna fuck Nick over." And it's like, wait, but like, I know my kids are back.
Yeah.
Like, so like, oh, Nick's really gonna get fucked by this. Like, well, that didn't happen. The funny thing is, I know it didn't happen because I remember when
Nick, you're fucked already, right? Like it. I really don't know why he seems to think that he's invincible, because he's been doing nothing but take L after L after L since, like, the Vic case ended, right? Like, I don't know why he's so confident in himself, because he's such a train wreck of a human being. I can't imagine.
the hearing occurred.
But they're back and free and clear. There's no more kid thing at all. So all of that was for no reason. All of it. Like, all of this hysteria over your case amounted to nothing.
There's a statute that's.
But the case is still ongoing, right? Like, and again, what about all the other cases, like the drug charges, the monograph thing, like everything else he's been doing? Like, no, it's not just nothing, Dick. Like,
says, if a controlled substance is located in a home with children, the children are presumed to be in danger and need to be removed until the danger is resolved. That's different from child endangerment, the crime. The crime of child endangerment would have the requisite intent and knowledge aspects of criminal law attached. Okay. So here's the thing. In our case, a search was conducted of our home, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that the search was necessarily valid, but that's a court argument. But a search was conducted of our home.
It was valid.
And during that search, the county sheriff alleges they found a controlled substance. That alleged controlled substance, has not been
We
tested or weighed by the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension in Minnesota yet.
What are you talking about? We know what it is. It was cocaine. Like, we know you had it everywhere. Like, we know. We know. So I don't know why he seems to think that, like, he can seriously convince people that, like, it was planted by the cops or whatever. Like, he's doing this thing where he's, like, pretending they're out to get him. And that's, like, obviously not what's going on here, but, like, he's really sticking to the bit. It's kind of embarrassing.
So they actually don't know that they have a controlled substance. Their field testing is inadmissible to show the presence of a controlled substance. So it's admissible for the purposes of establishing some level of cause, right? It goes into the factors for establishing probable cause, but they haven't actually tested it yet. So they don't know the actual weight of the alleged controlled substance. They don't know the actual chemical composition of the alleged controlled substance. But during their field testing, it field tested positive for what would be a controlled substance. And based on that, they have the grounds to emergency place the children out of the home, which is what they did.
Yeah.
There are no other grounds for the removal of my children from my house. So despite the...
Yeah, no other grounds other than the fact that they found cocaine in your house. You know, like, no other grounds at all. Like, other than the fact that you were committing a crime. Yeah, okay, sure, Nick.
Kvetching online, there was not actually any finding of child maltreatment or malnourishment or neglect or abuse. None of that actually has happened.
Hungry shit.
None of that has happened? What are you talking about? We're just... No.
Yeah.
That was all. But I tried to tell people early on, that report, the kid being hungry. First of all, children say they're hungry when they're hungry, like when they want to.
Not the strangers, you idiot. Like, because the stranger has no obligation to give you anything.
Eat a sandwich. They say they're hungry, kind of like
they
adult
say it all the time. They say it while they're eating. They say, I'm starving. I don't want to. And they say, I'm hungry. I don't want to eat that.
Yes. And when this story...
What a code. Like, the kids have been talking about being hungry and not having clean clothes for the past year or so, right? This has been clearly documented. So I don't know who he's trying to fool here in regards to this, but I can tell you that it is not true.
Eventually gets told, and it's so much fucking worse than I can express. Yeah. But it has to be told through court first, because if I just tell it now, people won't have any reason to believe it. The great thing is, when I get to tell it, I have all of the documentation. I have the recorded conversations. I have the video. I have it all to back it up. So,
well, you got to wait till the end to tell it. That's the prestige, you know. You can't.
Yeah, it's also the felony charge. That's the other part of it. But no, this whole thing with your kid says you're
either
hungry.
Have to be out of prison or in prison to tell a story. You don't want to, no one wants to tell their story and then go to prison. Like, shit, I already told my story. I got nothing to do in here now.
Family Services ignored all of those reports. All the reports that said that the kids were hungry or didn't have clothes, which is ludicrous. If you have any concept of how many clothes we have, you guys don't. My kid's closet looks like a fucking Goodwill. Like, it's just racks and
now
racks.
They're going to say that,
Yeah, because none of it's getting cleaned, probably. Like, again, it's not the issue of having clothes. It's the issue that they're not getting cleaned, right? So, like, again, he's being disingenuous with what he's talking about. Is that, like...
Now they're going to say that's because your home's in squalor.
Right.
Yep, it is, yep.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's fine. It's but it doesn't. It's like what people.
It's so fucked up.
There's a myopia of. I'm gonna say this. It sounds rude, but there's a myopia of poverty, is what I call it. I've coined it, and it's when people. It's not necessarily a financial poverty. It's poverty of anything. Poverty of information, experience, education doesn't matter, but the myopia of poverty is when your experience is so far removed from some other experience that you can't fathom the situation that must be occurring. And so you apply your own situation into it. So what people hear is they hear there was lots of laundry on the ground and they go, man, if I had lots of laundry on the ground, it would look like X. And it's like, and then I wouldn't have laundry to wear. It's like, oh, no. You don't understand how many clothes our children have. We have a 16-year-old down to a 6-year-old, which means we have hand-me-down. Oh, and my wife comes from a huge family. We have hand-me-downs for days. We have new clothes for days. Like our kids have just.
But you don't put clothes on the floor, you fucking dipshit. You pick them up and put them in a laundry basket like a normal person. It doesn't matter about the amount. Like, come on.
There's fucking tons of clothes. And we don't really get rid of them between the two ages because you save up, like when one kid grows out of some stuff, you save it because the next kid's going to grow into it. So and you start getting rid of the stuff at the youngest levels, but in the meanwhile, you have a bunch. And so, yeah, was there a bunch of laundry in the house? Absolutely. It was incidentally, it was sorted into piles so that it could be washed in the laundry room that it was adjacent to. But hey, who's counting? That being said,
that sounds like a Goodwill.
Yeah, it kind of does, except with less.
Yeah, so folded outside of the laundry room. Like, really? As opposed to being in a laundry basket? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, less people who don't speak English in it.
Yeah.
But no, the whole interesting thing about it though is despite all of the where, remember my house was called an overall dirty home because it had dust on the vents.
Oh, it's fucking cops.
Oh, I know. It's so fucking fun. It's like there are dust on the vents. Okay. But all of that stuff about the hungry kids, the not having clothes and all that was all ignored by CPS. It was all ignored entirely because there was no basis to it.
But they took the kids away. What are you talking about? Like, he's really...
And as they did their investigation, which their initial thing when they hear this stuff is, oh my God, right? They did their investigation and continued to find that there was no basis for any of it. In fact, what they found were 5 children who are all above average height, above average weight, above average intelligence, who do very well in their studies, who are wildly involved, or their parents are wildly involved in their lives. Every single fucking interview that they had said one thing over and over. These kids really love their parents. The parents really love the kids, and the parents are always around for the kids. They're always there. We're at everything.
Okay, sure, Dave, sure.
And our kids are involved in tons of stuff. And in all of that, they're like, yeah, the only thing they ever had was there were drugs allegedly present in the home during this search. So once those were removed, it was a matter of, that's an interesting story. Yeah. That's a very interesting story, and it got more interesting recently.
Yeah. It could only be interesting when 1 out of 5, the middle kid, has coke hair tests. They're not.
He's going there. He's going there.
That's not the middle one. It's the next to. It's the next.
Oh, it's the next.
Yeah, the 9-year-old. Yep.
Yeah. And see that. What's funny though is that despite that, the county never actually alleged that the child had done cocaine.
Yeah.
That's not the. Yeah. Because she probably ingested it or was just around it so much it got in her system, right? Like, again, nobody she didn't need to have done it to, like, get you in trouble, okay? Like, just being around it is criminal.
Ingested it in any way. And they didn't even allege that we exposed the child to it. Here's why. They can't. A hair follicle test can't tell you that.
They can't? Then how did it test positive then, you idiot? Like,
and it's interesting. It's almost like maybe there is actual explanation for how that happened. That'll get brought up at some point soon.
Oh, well.
Oh, no. Oh, there's going to be an explanation that'll resolve all this. Like, come on, bro. No, it's not going to happen.
But I know what didn't happen. I know that Lady Rackets and I never.
I know 9-year-old's not doing rails. That's what I know.
I know that. But I
don't know
also
why.
know.
I don't know why that's such a fucking shocker to people. Oh, how could you? Didn't you see this? How could you support this? Like, that didn't happen, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I know
I'm
and
sure
can
a lot of
say.
people talk to Jesus too. It ain't fucking happening.
I know and can say definitively that while in our care, in our home, those children were never exposed to any illegal
Oh
substances.
no, no! Is he really gonna do this? Is he really gonna do this? Okay. The way it looks to me is that he's going to try and set up Aaron Imholt as the person behind the cocaine. That Aaron was over there so much that he was bringing all these drugs over, and then like he was kicked out because of the drugs, and now they're fixing the problem, right? Is that really what he's gonna do? Is that really what he's alleging? What he's hinting towards? Man, that is terrible. Oh man. Not that Aaron is like a good person or anything, because he was doing lines with the rest of them, but like, wow, he's throwing over the guy he did the hot tub stream with under the bus. He stole his wife, and now he's gonna put him in prison. Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
Another thing that's fun is like people. I mentioned that at one of our hearings, and they're like, "Why would Nick say that? Is he proving? Is he trying to head it off or mitigate it because he knew the test was coming?" First
No,
of
it's
all,
fatter. If you're gonna do null, you got to sound fatter. Why would I say that?
the funny
They're
thing
not
is
sending their best pedophiles over there at Kiwi Farms. They're sending some of the. They're sending the.
they're sending the convicted ones.
Kiwi Farms just got taken down. Like the last time Kiwi Farms got taken down was because of the Keffels thing, right? Who is a troon, right? They were really big on exposing the who is the Mr. Beast guy, right? That guy. Like to say like everybody on Kiwi Farms is a pedophile is disingenuous, right? Like that is retarded. And in fact, considering your favorite movie is American Beauty, the movie where like Kevin Spacey like tries to fuck like a 17-year-old girl, a 16-year-old girl, like yeah, like you have no room to talk. Like I've heard this man, Rekieta, like cheer on Drexel grooming that 13-year-old girl, fantasizing about movies about fucking teenagers, right? Like he is a pedophile, younger teenagers. Like he is a pedophile. But anyway,
the
Well, if
amazing
you're
thing
gonna
is
send your pedophiles out on these ops, on these pedo ops, you got to send the ones that don't have pedophile records.
if they were to read just a little bit before that line, because there's a line that I said in court, and I said that the
and then everyone clapped.
stated that if they were exposed, it would be from someone else.
Yeah.
The only reason I stated that line is because that's what the state wrote.
Yeah.
The state wrote that down in their complaint. I was reading that line from the complaint. My children were all interviewed by 2 government workers with no parents, no grandparents, and no attorney present.
Yeah.
Not even a guardian ad litem was present.
They got taken out of the home when the cops showed up.
Yes.
I mean, I know it always needs to be repeated, but cops are extremely incompetent.
Actually, they got taken out of the home when the cops showed up, and then they were brought back into the home several times
with all the
during the search.
Flying around, really? Good job. Good job, officers Chicklock and Cock Knuckles.
During the search, the children were brought into and out of the home several times.
Great.
I didn't know this because I was not there.
Yeah, it's the shit around the hair test is so aggravating because people just have no idea. It's not a
Yeah, they probably were brought back to get their things. Like, okay.
piss test. It's hugely environmental. They cannot filter out. This is me saying it. I mean, I don't know the implications of even being on a stream with you, but I know a lot about drug testing, and the hair test is just total garbage because anything in the environment can set it off at any moment, and they cannot wash it off. They can't wash it off. They can't determine what's been ingested and what's just gotten blown on your hair from a butterfly or.
It's amazing. But the reason that I mentioned that, like, people are like, what's he trying to say? I'm like, I'm trying to say that according to the complaint the government filed, the children who they independently interviewed with no possible parental influence all said that they've never seen drugs, they've never seen their parents intoxicated in any way, and they have never.
Yeah. Okay. They're probably trained to say that. Assuming that is true, like they're probably well trained not to think that, or they're like so used to it that they don't even register it, right? It took like the viewers like a long time to realize he was doing cocaine, or even that he was an alcoholic, right? I suppose that the kids had like a similar kind of realization, right? Okay. More water, more water. I'm drinking water like Rekieta drinks bottles of alcohol. I'm a waterholic, which I guess is healthy, but if I was drinking as much as Rekieta, all right. All right.
And if any exposure were to have happened, it would have come from contact with someone else. That's what they said. Actually, though, what I've learned is that that line that the government put in their complaint was a lie. Not a single child said that. That line was sort of fed to them by a county worker.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
what was the claim?
Have never, and if any exposure were to have happened, it would have come from contact with someone else. That's what they said. Actually, though, what I've learned is that that line that the government put in their complaint was a lie. Not a single child said that. That line was sort of fed to them by a county worker.
What?
Yeah, a county work, because it's not something 6-year-olds tend to say, or 8-year-olds, or 11-year-olds, or 13-year-olds, or 16-year-olds. It's just not their normal experience to say that. But it is a county worker who tried to get them to say what they wanted them to say. God. And again, and people are like, oh my God, Nick's saying all this stuff about these people. I sure hope he's there. Does he know about defamation? It's all recorded, guys. All this shit's recorded. I'm very fucking confident in saying all of it because it's all recorded. But the kids never actually said that. The government put that in their complaint and it wasn't true. Shocker. But that's the reason that I said it in court, was because, hey, you even say in your complaint that the alleged victims, the children, have never witnessed any of this. In fact, they didn't ever present a single witness who had. Not one.
Yeah. Because you're just doing rails in at home all the time. You're not going out. Like Drexel was distancing himself from you, right? Like everybody online was not directly involved with it. Like who was there, right? Like it's just actually no. Like, we do know one person who came forward about the kids. Kayla's sister, like the 27-year-old Chadette, right? The chick who reported them, right? We know that. So, yeah, they did have a witness. So, all right.
Not one witness was able to ever say that Lady Rackets or I had engaged in any illegal activity at all. Not a single witness presented by the state in our family case was put on record for that. No one was brought up at all. It's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah, when people are like, Nick's never getting his kids back and all this stuff,
it's amazing that they have to take your kids away for a month for like something this retarded.
They don't have to.
Oh, they don't have to?
No, they could have returned them right away. Because okay, so let's go through the steps. Okay. Allegedly, they found this substance. And I say allegedly because, again, it has not been tested. No testing has been done by the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension in Minnesota. Yeah, right. So the government hasn't even performed their own tests on it. So allegedly, they found this substance that they believe merits an emergency placement. Well, we can presume that the county sheriff's department does a fantastic job and removes all of the dangerous things when they do a search. So their entire basis for keeping our kids longer was someone might commit a crime at some point in the future. And we were asked to prove that a future crime would not be committed.
How?
Good fucking question. Because when you ask,
remove the drugs, remove the alcohol. Like, again, he did remove the alcohol. That's definitely something that needs to be noticed, is that he did rearrange his office after this happened. He did get rid of all the alcohol memorabilia. Like, it just...
Them, what do you need? Because that's all we asked the whole time. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need? They didn't have answers. They never have an answer. Because how do you answer that?
Yeah, what do you got?
They go, well, we want to make sure it doesn't happen again. It's like, yeah, we're with you on that. What do you need? What do you want us to do?
Okay, did he just admit that something happened? Like, he just admitted that something happened. Like, what did he do that it got the cops involved? Right? Like,
come look in our house? You want to go search through every fucking thing? What do you need? Just tell us. What do we need to do to show you that the home is safe for the children? And they couldn't.
Was the thing not working? Hang on. No, it seems to be fine.
They didn't have anything. The problem was they couldn't tell us what wasn't safe, because the only thing was the alleged substances, and those were removed. So
the alleged substances. Okay, so those were removed. Like, he's admitting that there was something there, essentially. Wow.
And just to be clear to everybody out there, that's not an admission that there were alleged substances. That's what the county has stated. That's what we're charged with. The government has to prove all sorts of things about those substances, and that's what the criminal trial is for.
Like what?
They have not done.
You got so many retarded people listening to your case. You got to qualify even the most like basic, obvious shit, and they still just take it and lie about it. It's crazy.
Oh, it's amazing. They've said that I've like alleged that the police had planted stuff or whatever. It's like, I've never said anything even fucking close to that. But people just they take two different things, they conflate them together, and this is something I've noticed. Kiwi Farms is a game of telephone, and it's a confirmatory game of telephone.
Did you say petaphone?
Yes, petaphone.
Petaphone. Yeah.
It's where someone on Kiwi Farms will mishear.
One pedophile says to another. Yeah.
One pedo says to the next something. They misunderstand something, either intentionally or unintentionally, and then that thing gets adopted as what happened. Yeah. And then it becomes this confirmatory circle jerk, and they just keep going back and forth. It's like, and then
what about outside of Kiwi Farms, right? I haven't been posting there. I don't have an account there. I've been following along on Twitter and like other platforms what about people outside of Kiwi Farms, right? Like, what about casual observers, like the growing YouTube detractor community? Like, what about those guys? Like, people like me who are reacting to your statements on air right now. Like, again, we're not necessarily following along with everything Kiwi Farm says. In fact, I've seen them say things that aren't true that it just gets dismissed. Like, again,
then it becomes their canon. So people, including Josh, who was willing to put in an affidavit that I said police planted stuff in the house. Like, Josh, I never said that.
Dude, he's gotten really retarded. And anything that has to do with you or I guess Vito, I don't know. He's like,
it's the myopia of poverty.
Oh, is it?
Master.
Yeah, it's myopia.
Something else. He's like reasonable and has a sense of humor about so many things, but then when it comes to us, he's like, yeah, Nick's alleging that the police are planning. Like, man, what you're saying is, first of all, it's not funny at all, but secondly, it's like wildly retarded. And everyone knows everyone can see it's retarded.
Well, yeah, that's true, but that's because Nick said it, right? Like, it's not supposed to be funny. It's what Nick said, and it's retarded, but it's what Nick said. So,
yeah. And I asked him, I'm like, please show me where I said that. I did not. Show me where. And shockingly, it has not been found, despite all of the best efforts of the world's top men.
Yeah, it's right under the pedophile conviction of that guy you've been harboring on Kiwi Farms for 5 years. Go ahead and lift up Jason Close.
Yeah, they're calling other people pedophiles when they're harboring Vita. Like, just go on.
This is pedophile conviction, and Nick's statement is right under there, buddy. Go ahead and lift up the pedo. You know how Null's been trying to convince everybody that Vito is a legit pedophile? So they'll attack me for 3 years? I think the call was actually coming from inside the house. The ice cream truck was inside the house. Null.
Dude, when this Discovery document dump happened, and it showed all the people who did the Freedom of Information Act requests.
Yeah.
Buddy of mine just immediately sends me a thing. He's like, guess what? Ran someone through a database. The database is Google, and it comes up with the registered offender thing, and the addresses match. The literal first fucking person is a pedophile. And I laugh. I'm like, of course it's a registered pedophile. And so I'm chuckling. Yeah. And then I look at the request as a volunteer reporter for Kiwi Farms. And I'm like, it could not have happened funnier than that. But it gets funnier because I didn't say anything. Obviously, my lawyer filed an opposition to having the pretrial hearings recorded.
Okay.
Because there's a rule that says that they shouldn't be. But that being said, one of the things is to protect to protect minor children who may be involved. And well, sorry, we've got alleged victims who would be minor children, right? That are involved in this case. That could be witnesses. And so my lawyer files the thing and points out, the first person to look into this is a pedophile. And there are children that are presumably protected by the law. Like, that's the whole point.
And Null is lying about them being a pedophile and associated with Kiwi Farms.
Oh, that's the funny part. So I don't say. I find this out a couple days ago. I don't say anything publicly because it's like, well, this is going to get filed. And so it gets filed. What is Null's immediate defense? First, he goes onto Kiwi Farms and he changes the guy's screen name to his real name. So he confirms right there that the guy is actually a Kiwi Farms user.
Yeah, and he's been on there bragging that he's a pedophile the whole fucking time.
Since 2019, yeah. So for 5 years now, the guy's been an open pedophile on Kiwi Farms. Not only that, Null then goes to my locals and he searches for this guy and he sees that he's a quote-unquote member for 2 years. And he's like, no, he's actually a member of Nick's private locals community. And it's like, well, first of all, 2 years ago, that's weird. That's when a bunch of Kiwi Farms people started having masturbatory fits about my locals page. Yeah. Okay, that's funny. And then I check, and of course, he's an unpaid member. He never paid a penny. He wasn't. So on locals, you can go and like
money on child porn, I guess, or maybe he gave it to Null for his weird lawsuit that's not happening.
He's homeless and on disability. A Kiwi story. But no, so the funny fucking thing is he was not actually a member of my locals. He was just you sign up with your email so you can get like updates.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Yeah, you can't chat, you can't comment, you can't do anything members only. But he has over 900 posts on Kiwi Farms, and he's won 25 trophies. He's won trophies for having such a strong like to post ratio.
And he's a known convicted pedophile with 135 counts of pedophiliness, of child assault. By the way,
Horrible.
Not a
horrible person.
Trip at a playground and his dick popped in someone's ass. Aggravated pedophilia.
And so Null's like, look, he's a member of your community. He's like, nope, not at all, actually.
No, he is a full-fledged member of your community, one of many.
A celebrated one. But here's what's even better. It's almost like Kiwi Farms has this way to see stuff about a person. Like, here's his trophies where he's thought-provoking because he has 500 or more posts with at least a 1-to-1 ratio of likes, well-spoken, over 100 posts with 1-to-1 ratio of likes, received 250 likes, received 100 likes on your post.
Who cares? Like, who cares about this individual and how many likes he's gotten? Like, how does this do anything to Kiwi Farms?
His reaction score is positive. 860.
He's a beloved member of the community, man.
Here's what's really good.
He's their Dennis Hastert.
You can see his postings because Null has this great website where you can see the postings, and you can go and read about him and read what he wrote about me, and it's all negative. It's all negative. Going as far back as you want to go, you could just find. He first started commenting
Null knew all this, by the way. Null knew all of this. Because this is the same guy that was stalking Tim Pool and all this other shit. This is all wildly out in the open and known.
So if you go back to, here's the beginning of his chat history. Come on. We'll get there. It's a little, Kiwi Farms around a little slow right now. It's like the special kid in line for mac and cheese.
Because Hurricane Electric was worried about child pornography.
So he's talking about Alejandra Carabello. That's a tranny lawyer who hates me, by the way. That's funny.
This is back in dance people is because they think it's competition for getting at the kids.
So we can go straight to the first post about me, and it's May 24th. So it's the day after my arrest is when he starts posting about me, and then he goes on and makes a couple posts. Here we go. Don't mistake me looking at this from a legal perspective as some kind of misplaced sympathy for Nick or Kayla. They absolutely should not have jeopardized the stability of their children's lives by being druggy. They fucked up. This is fully on them. Over and over and over. It's all negative. So Null's super cope here because Null, I mean, at the end of the day, Null loves
he's a fan of yours. Is that what Null's saying? He's actually a Nick fan.
Did you not see when Null did that?
No.
Oh God, this is great. because it's all just right out.
Whenever it comes to us, he's like he turns into a fucking retard. No.
Yep.
He would never say this shit about anybody else. His brain would be working. But he's so bitter and butthurt.
Here we go. Where was it? I'll pull it up. Do you know that Null unironically said to me the other day, without a shred of jokery in it, he said, "It is distasteful to call everybody you dislike a pedophile." Null said that.
Null, you should start calling some of the people you like a pedophile.
So here we go. This is Nick Rekieta fights a petition. So this is KiwiFarms.net. Update. The pedophile that allegedly requested the body cam footage is actually a member of Rekieta Law's private community on Locals and has been for almost 2 years. He's not. Actually, he's a member of the public version of Locals. He was a non-paying person.
What's the matter? It's so stupid.
Oh, no, I know. But hold on. Here's the best part. I go check. Here's his community member. Look up. Not a single penny ever paid. Zero. $0.
Would you have donated it to Rain if he had given you any money? The child?
No, I would have just kept it. It's fucking insane. What? Wait.
Null talks like that guy Oswald, that black in Living Color, the black guy that's in prison and uses all the big words, the big lawyer words. Like he allegedly, man.
But he mispronounces so many of them.
What you're alleging isn't a crime, so you don't need to use it there. You fat retard.
But yeah, so this is the guy. This is the Kiwi Farms map. And again, I want to. It's funny because they act like, I mean, this you mentioned it's in the open in 2019. He had an
Yeah, he's
Ask Me
bragging about
Anything
it.
thread. He's got a verified tag.
Yeah.
They verified that this was the guy saying he was a pedophile. Presumably Null did the verification or one of the mods, because it's not something that anybody can just normally do.
It's unreal the amount of crying about pedophile shit that guy does when he's openly harboring a really egregious pedophile.
His reaction score is positive.
Yeah.
Positive. He's embraced by the community. So, it's fine. It's fine. It's funny though, because the main reason for bringing all this up is because this is what Null does.
Yeah.
It's exactly what Null does. He does it every fucking time. He tries to guilt by association people. He tries to ham fist other people's perspectives onto someone else. It's like, oh, you talked to this person who's this. Well, they're a pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Josh. I guess. Do you hold yourself to your own standards? No, he doesn't. And now, you know what's even more fun is what they've been bringing up lately. They're like, well, Nick Rekieta interviewed a pedophile way back when. Do you remember who it was?
Oh, yeah, that wall-eyed guy, Tito. Maddox super fan.
The Maddox supporter. The Maddox super
had
fan.
A convicted pedophile as a super fan that he would bring on the show and like laugh at his shitty jokes. And then I think he like confessed, that he was a pedophile.
I found his
the bad hombre.
His case. Yeah, I found his case. I found out that he was a registered offender, found his case, and we went through it. I kept his name out of it. But then he reached out and wanted to be interviewed. And I said, all right. And he came on the show. It was actually a really good interview. He said that child molesters cannot be rehabbed, that they will always be, they're like addicts, basically, is what he said. They'll always be in recovery. They need accountability. They need to be put in prison. Included himself in that.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to that guy. I wonder if he's back.
Hopefully he's dead.
If he's back on the radio flyer.
He should hit Maddox up. I want a total bad guy team up. Maddox, Eric July, this pedophile, Tito, the other pedophile.
It's so funny because this is exactly what Null does. And he swears that the other thing he said to me the other day, he was talking and he started speaking using we.
Oh.
We are asking you for this. We are this. It's like, wait, I thought Kiwi Farms wasn't a monolith. I thought you were just a bunch of individuals. That's what you keep arguing in federal court over and over.
Yeah.
That's just a website and you don't act like as a unit or group. And Josh has been saying we a lot lately.
How odd.
Now he's posting on behalf of Kiwi Farms.
Like Vito?
Wait, what was that?
Does you mean we pedophiles like Vito?
Yeah. Well,
we've
evolved to understand pedophiles. That was the worst. Vito, remove that word from your vocabulary.
He can't. He still says it. He says it all the time.
Okay, wait a minute. Hear me out.
Yeah.
I know a guy who cannot take personal accountability for a single fucking thing.
Nick, no.
To the point where he can't, if he sent a text message and it was misunderstood, and you say, but read the words.
Is he talking about himself?
And understand and like try and figure out why someone believed you said the one thing when you meant something else.
Yeah.
He won't say that he sent the text message. Like it's that bad. When this is a real person, when they had anything to ever admit to, they would always say we. And we do this. We do that.
Yeah, Vito does that.
It's like, you're an asshole. Yeah, you don't like sandwiches. We over here, we prefer soup. It's like, wait, don't put me included with your I do love soup, but don't make
Every
me
time I
included
ask him about his comic, like, is your comic coming out now or ever? He's like, well, we're trying to get it out. I'm like, well,
who's we?
Who's we? You. I'm talking to you. Like, well, we really think that we have something for, by the end of the month. Like, okay. Well, what do you think? Do you think we knows what they're doing? Because I don't think we knows what they're doing.
I think so. Maybe that's Vito's problem. He's a we guy. Like he can't have the personal accountability at all. So it's got to be we at that point.
Did you read Noel's post where he talks about how he's worked out one time in his life and he'll never do it again?
And it was on that day, how many push-ups did he do?
No, you got to do more push-ups than this guy raped kids. How about that? Then your forum members have raped kids, convicted, not just raped kids in general, because that could be. I couldn't even do that many push-ups, but convicted in court of raping kids.
It's a disturbing trend that keeps happening on the Kiwi farms. I'm noticing. It's like it just keeps.
Nick, it really is, because my community expels pedophiles. You know,
they don't even pay to join mine.
Yeah, we don't give them awards and stuff. We don't send them into court to do our
awards. Like
our important legal filings. We say, hey, don't do that. Get away from me. Get the hell out of here.
Some lawyer allegedly licensed in Minnesota offered to professionally record the hearings on behalf of Kiwi Farms, but he wrote some other attorney's bar number down.
Happens all the time. It happens all the time. Sometimes I misspell my own name,
Yeah.
It happens all my birthday.
Just wrote someone else's bar number down again. I mean, like, it's just twice in the same document.
License, that's somebody else's. I don't know why I wrote that.
Twice in the same document, he wrote down the other person's bar number. It's not like he just fat fingered it.
Yeah.
Like the one time. It was twice. The two times he wrote it down wrong. So that's good.
Yeah, they're not sending their best, are they? Or maybe they are.
Well, that's possible. Of course, that's been fun too.
That was their saucy pedophile. That pedophile could lure kids in. The rest of them have to rely on force. That was their best one, I guess.
Oh God, I don't even want to talk too much about these people. Dude, I'm not the kind of guy.
They're sick, and everyone's afraid of them.
I think people are very afraid of them.
They're very afraid of them because they are so sick.
The thing is, I was always a guy who resisted this, that whole oh, they're just living in their mom's base. I hate that sort of label because look, yeah. I know a lot of dudes who live in a shitty apartment or whatever because they work or they drive a truck and they really don't need to be home. And so it's I don't care about people's life choices like that. Oh, you're single, whatever. But consistently, as I have been exposed, not like the children are, but as I've been exposed to Kiwi Farms users, I find disturbing trends of government assistance, no job, no family, no support network.
Yeah.
And often government housing. And yes, on occasion, a little dash of the pedophilia.
Yeah.
And it's you guys
most
really do make the fucking
hang around pedophiles. That's the thing,
Josh likes to have a board collecting them. Isn't that funny? Do you think Josh
is gonna mint him a silver coin? He's gonna mint. What's the guy's name?
Chris Chan.
What's this new guy's name?
Oh, Jason Close.
Jason Close. Next is gonna be limited time. Fund Null's new lawsuit. He's gonna sue God for some reason. For
not making him Catholic, making him Jewish.
Null's gonna sue God for making kids so sexy, and he's gonna fund the lawsuit by selling limited edition coins from China for whatever $100 a piece to these miscreants.
Do you remember the 8chan drama with Josh as a moderator over on 8chan?
Only a little bit. Only that everyone was mad at him and he had an explanation for why it wasn't.
The reason that everyone was mad at him was because he moderated the Chan the slash pedophile board.
Oh, that's
where he's look, I took out their ability to share pictures, but I wanted to give them a place to talk and vent their pedophilia or whatever. That was the thing. He was the moderator.
Did he say them or us?
I don't know. He might have been saying we back then. I'm not sure.
That's bizarre.
But he would always, his defense was, well, they couldn't post pictures, so they couldn't post actual kid porn. And people were like, but dude, you gave us space for a bunch of pedophiles to just hang out and talk about pedophilia
and meet each other
kids.
And plan shit.
And do you remember any of the early fucking Null posting that was done?
No.
Really early, where he talked about being into Shota? and shit like that. Like that was the only way he could masturbate. That's why it's Broke Dick Farms, right? Was because
I didn't know
he talked about how these are old posts. I'm sure he was being.
This is getting boring. He's not talking about the. He's not talking about the case anymore. Yeah, I think that's enough for now. But yeah, unbelievable, isn't it? That he would come out and like try and damage control the situation. Unbelievable. Definitely going to result in failure. I'm expecting things to get a lot worse